Join Dalton and Jacob as they discuss the ever-changing world of trading card games. TCG Buzz starts now.
Hello, and welcome to TCG Talk. My name is Jacob. I'm your wonderful host today. Dalton's not with me. Sorry about that, you Dalton fans. I'm joined by Bryce today.
Where are all the Bryce fans at?
They don't exist. Oof. Guys, if you're a Bryce fan, if you're a Bryce fan, let him know in the comments below. He needs that self-esteem boost.
I do. It's a serious problem.
Well, before we get started with this episode, you probably know what we're talking about, but I just wanted to say, please make sure, if you haven't done so, subscribe and let us know if you want to see more Dragon Ball Super content. You know, we've got a lot of games we want to cover. If you're a big Dragon Ball Super fan and you want to see more from our channel, we need to know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the challenge. Bryce knows what we're talking about, and he only barely explained it to me. We were sitting down about 2 minutes before we started recording, and I said, so we're talking about blank, right? And he go, no, we're talking about this other thing. And I go, that's news to me. So you want to explain what we're doing?
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the rulings in Dragon Ball and how a lot of them, honestly, should just not be the way they are now.
Okay, so I have known Bandai in the past to make some funky rulings, let's say. But
Looking at you, Mecha Frieza.
but I have not played remotely competitive Dragon Ball Super since I first got out of the game, and that was, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Man, the time passes by. I only play it casually with you and Dalton.
And it's still fun, yeah.
Right. But because of that, I have not looked at any rulings or Q&As or ban lists or anything ever.
Yeah.
So you'll be telling me this stuff for the first time.
Right.
And I don't even have to know that for, like, building decks because I just play yours.
Yeah. And they're fun.
Yeah. So, what are we talking about?
Well, the first one is, do you know what the keyword revenge does?
Revenge is like when your thing is attacked by the thing and it dies and then it kills the thing.
Yes.
Yes.
So, King Vegeta's surprise attack used to be, and I quote, at the end of the battle, then the revenge would trigger.
Yes, I remember that. It's a set one card, or is it?
Yeah, set one.
Set one. Yeah.
And, after the whole anniversary box came out and people want to buy it, guess what they do? They nerfed it. You know what it does now?
Let's hear this.
Is that the revenge doesn't trigger if you gave it for that battle. So it has to live, and then the next battle participates in the revenge triggers.
Hang on.
Just soak that up for a little bit.
So, I use it because it's a counter attack, right?
It's activate battle.
Oh, it's activate battle on it?
Yes.
Oh, so
That's
they're saying
why
it
it's
doesn't
stupid.
count that battle. It
Yes.
counts later battles.
It literally makes no sense.
So what you're saying is the card is absolutely useless.
Yes, they killed it. They literally just killed the card.
See, that's what I hate. I hate when a card is, like, sure, maybe a card's a little too powerful, so you can nerf it a little, right, in some way. But making it completely useless, because that, I see no opportunity to use that. Mm-hmm. How many battles are you going to actually have where it's worth it to give your thing revenge, and it's going to live through the first battle, and your opponent's not going to be is going to be stupid and not just stop attacking?
Right. It's so stupid because then they'll be like, all right, well, I'm not going to attack it, or okay, I'll just kill it instead, and problem is solved. Especially where the game, and there's been a lot of design mistakes in this game, I know, but now we're at the point where the game is just so fast and, convoluted. Yes, it is convoluted, that there's no reason to play this card.
Okay, so what was the reason they hit it? Like, was it just, in general, the card was just too good now? Or was there a specific combo?
There was no combo involved, really. I think this is more just, like, gripes and grievances about, like, the casual player base complaining about it, kind of like how I lost my 3-drop cell down to a 1-of.
Well,
And that never hurt the game at all.
I'll say the one thing that always gets screwed over because players are always the loudest complaining about it are control or disruption. No matter the card game, if a control or disruption strategy is too good, it's going to be hit. Whereas aggro strategies or like super hard stall strategies, never.
Nope. Just take a look at Buddy Fight. Why do you think every single deck they've come out so far is just it's just an aggro deck reskinned on a different thing? Like, oh cool, here's my Sirems.
Because every time an actual decent control deck comes out or a disruption deck, people complain about it. Look how much people complain about God Punks. We're getting off track though.
Right.
People here, they want super stuff, not
right. But it's prime example. Or for a super example is that people complain about Cell Chain because it kept you in check from drawing too many gosh dang cards. And then people like, and this was the number one complaint in the community, and I quote, well, I don't want to have to play around my opponent's cards. I just want to do my thing.
You know what that makes?
Bardock.
A boring game.
Yes. That's how we got Bardock and how he got banned after 2 sets because they didn't realize it after the first 2 bannings that, maybe it's more than just Flute and Trunks and Goten. Maybe Bardock was the problem the whole time.
Bring back Trunks. Honestly, I think they could bring back the combo Trunks that restands one.
Well, with all the hate now, yes.
Yeah, with all the hate, he should be back at 4.
Right, because now we have 2 forms of it.
Do you guys want to see us do an actual full-out make-our-own ban list video?
Well, we could do like a test run.
Yeah.
Let us in the comments.
Yeah. What's next?
Yeah. So the next one is what it has to do with the what's that one? It's with the counter timings, and it's super weird because you get 2 of them, all right? And in context, this makes sense. But at the same time, it doesn't. Like, there's the counterplay, you have 2 counterplay timings, though. One for the attempt to play the card, so they announce it, you play it, you follow everything through, and you go that way. Or you go, well, I want to respond to its auto, I want to play this card, but then it's weird because then there's cards like Gogeta that make you tuck away your opponent's entire hand, and then they draw 3 cards, and then that's the end of it. Well, then it's like, well, I want to Champa him. Well, then he comes in, rests him because of his abilities, and then your hand gets shuffled away. But the weird thing is that Zeno cannot trigger the Goku that would cheat himself in the play if a card is moved from your field, because that triggers after the auto resolves, and since the Goku technically doesn't see a card leaving when you draw him, he cannot resolve. It's weird.
I was an official DBS judge at one point, and I got maybe a third of what you just said.
It's very convoluted.
That's part of the shame because DBS used to be such a simple game to understand.
Oh yeah, that got derailed after set 3 came out real quick.
And then the rulings on Cold Bloodlust, and then and then it just keeps stacking and stacking.
How you can fail to search?
It makes the game so unapproachable for casual players.
Yep.
You want a great example? Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone who hasn't played that game their entire life would ever try and join it. No. And the more you add these little nuances and complicated rules and whatnot.
Yep. And it's a shame because
be like
the big problem with Yu-Gi-Oh has is that they keep changing the way the card works. Thunder King used to be able to stop an entire special summon because it was new around the time that pendulums, were out, and it was able to stop the whole thing. But because it wasn't specific, then they eroded it to, no, you only get to stop one of those cards. Well, that doesn't make sense. Why not just put it to monster or monsters in parentheses instead of just making a card worthless? Mm-hmm. Now, no one plays that card. You know why? Because there's other cards in your deck that's archetype specific that do it better anyways, because you were the one who invested in this deck. It got banned because it topped Worlds, and then...
It sounds to me like the confusion there with that ruling of the steps in a summon of a monster, of a, you know what I'm trying to say.
Right, yeah.
I'm using the wrong terminology at every point of this, but the thing with it is sometimes when a game grows and evolves, they do naturally get more complicated as time goes on. But the problem here is if an old mechanic doesn't work for something, just changing how it works won't fix it. What you need to do sometimes is burn everything to the ground and fix it.
Right.
That way. So instead of saying, hey, this phase actually works completely different than what you thought because there's this asterisk on it, why not just separate auto abilities out into their own separate keyword?
Yep. Because another thing, too, that's, that was a big problem when it first came out, Set 3 introduced Barrier, which is basically hexproof on crack. Because they also, in that same time frame, gave us cards that says your opponent chooses cards on their board and kills them. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what Barrier does? You can't choose those cards because that's technically by your opponent's effect. So, guess what? If you were playing Broly, that was a bad time to play Broly, let me tell you.
Set 3, I think, did more damage to this game than anything else combined.
Oh, no, Set 4 was also
atrocious. Yeah, Set 4 was... But seriously, if the rules are getting to the point where it takes the average player a month to understand a ruling like that, it's time to rewrite them. The number one thing I've learned as a game designer, or as someone who follows game designers and learns from them, is don't go against human nature. If generally things should work how people think they should work, the more you go against that, the less approachable your game is.
Yes. Just because
Mark Rosewater, 2016.
And like another thing too, especially with Dragon Ball, is like we're kind of getting to the point now where the game is so complex. Like there's a reason why we do best of ones now, and it's unfortunate because people don't know what they're doing.
And best of one sucks.
It does.
I don't care what game you're playing. Best of one is the worst format.
Shout out to my Japan buddy fighters out there. God bless you. It is rough.
Like that's reason number one why I abandoned playing Cardfight Vanguard competitively was because it was best of one.
Ugh.
So if you get a bad shuffle, which happens all the time in that game, you're done.
Yep.
And it's not your fault. It just happens. At least when I whiff 3 games in a row in most card games, I can say, see, look, my luck really is that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that's really horrible, and they should really reconsider this whole secret area thing, and it's completely bogus, by the way, that it's considered that, is that when your opponent goes to, say, play Bardock, and say this is the time where he was unbanned, you could fail to find the card in your hand and just keep him there. So
I'm having flashbacks to Yu-Gi-Oh rulings.
Because this is how Storm worked, is that you played your Bardock, you swung with him, you played Sensobean, untap your 2, and then failed to find your 2-drop.
Oh, that's so dumb.
It's stupid because before the card came out, it said you had to put a card into play, otherwise you couldn't activate it. Well, when they released him in the actual set, they were like, no, you could bounce him back. For no reason. None at all. And it's the most aggravating thing I have ever encountered. What if we had that in Buddy Fight where I will go, oh, I failed to find from my hand? Wouldn't that just peeve you right off?
It's like your opponent, or in imagine Magic the Gathering, right?
And you know why?
Your opponent thought seizes you, right?
Right, yeah.
And you show them your cards, right? And then you just flop them back, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, I chose blank. And you go, oop, I failed to find it.
Exactly. Because it incentivizes cheating. That's what, honestly, just irritates me so badly about it.
There should, and I know I'm really good at these blanket statements. I just had one for the last one. But this one's so much more blatantly obvious than the last one. There should never, ever be an encouragement from your game to encourage players to lie to their opponents.
Yes. This is why, and this is just my.
It's so obvious.
Yes, like this is kind of like, hey, public service announcement. Maybe we should be able to take notes in Dragon Ball. Maybe the hand should not be a secret area if the card is public information that they added it to the hand. It should not be considered in a secret area. I don't care who you are. That card is public knowledge in my eyes. You already showed the card. You already played it. Why can't you fulfill the requirement?
Yeah.
It's stupid.
And not only is that stupid, it encourages players to be dishonest. And I guarantee you, Bandai, talking directly to you, right? If a player's at a high-level tournament, right, and they're going well, and maybe they're a win away from top 8, right, and they go against an opponent, right, and their opponent pulls that on them, there's a 70% chance they're never going to play your game again.
Hashtag Anthony Hernandez 2019.
Oh, no. The comments we're going to get.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Like, this is, what, the 4th time he's been caught cheating now? Between Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball. This guy is
No
unstoppable in the cheating program.
No comment.
Yeah. And you thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Was bad? Wow, look at his resume.
And I'm going to get like 7 attacks with one monster.
I heard
screen.
of one combat phase in Yu-Gi-Oh! But what about 2?
No, it was 3.
Oh, man. Like, prime example is back in, what was it, 2016, about the year I quit Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was just done with it. There was a regional in Atlanta. The guy, on live stream in front of 2 judges, confirmed that he was going to get a second combat phase and proceeded to attack him anyway with the Cleefort stuff. And they did nothing about that. Judges not even reminder hey, you're in your second main phase. There's not exactly another combat phase. No?
The balls.
And then the other time, later in that same stream, mind you, is that top 16. He looks through his deck, the one Cosmo player looks through his deck, finds Royal Decree, attempts to shuffle his deck while stacking Royal Decree to the top of his deck.
Now that's,
on camera.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah. I don't know where we're going with this conversation anymore.
Although,
kind of got to cheating in general.
Speaking of cheating, you know what Beerus does? If your opponent shows in their energy that they have 5 or less energy, you can't touch anything in their board at all. Because guess what? They can't add to 6 legally because their hand is a secret area. Which is, again, if your opponent's holding 12 cards in his hand and he's like, sorry, I can't do the thing. My bad. Bandai. Why? Why do you encourage cheaters like Anthony Hernandez to play your game?
Stop it. We're going to get so many comments.
That's the point, Jacob.
The YouTube comment section is going to be fun.
It's just so aggravating, though, because, you know for a fact your opponent can fulfill the requirement. They're not stupid. Well, most of the time. But it's just...
And I feel bad because as a player, I wouldn't want to be on the other side of that. Because then you have to sit there and, maybe you're at the final round of a major tournament. And you have to decide, am I going to be that guy? Right?
And unfortunately, a lot of people are. Doesn't matter what game you're playing. There's always going to be someone at your regional, PTQ, or whatever event you're playing that is going to try to sneak his way in there through lies and deceit.
I'm going to be honest. In this case, if they say they failed to find, I don't blame them. I blame Bandai for allowing it to happen.
Yes.
It's not the player's fault. Sure, they're a little bit of a dick.
Well, it's part of their fault. It's part of their fault.
It's unsportsmanlike.
Yes.
But that shouldn't be allowed in the first place.
Yes.
You shouldn't have to put your players into the situation of, do I legally, without breaking the rules, be a dick and win, or do I lose?
Because, it's rules like these that just makes you kind of just look it over a couple of times, it's like, is this what this game's really about? Is like just. I mean, we already are cheating a bunch of creatures in the play, and this game is already super complicated with the arrival stuff and, playing cards from your energy now. And how they're probably just going to tap into that more in the future.
I'm waiting for them.
I
am waiting for life break to happen. Like shield breaks from
it's going to
Masters,
happen.
Where you flip your life over. First what you're doing to do, it's going to be a mess because the rules don't accommodate it yet, but I guarantee it's coming. You put the card in your hand. Oh, look at that. It's got the special keyword. It goes immediately into play.
Or it's like, hey, you hit this from a life. I'm going to take that life of yours. Or like a real feels bad.
When your life has revenge.
Your soul is mine.
Duh, you ever thought about using King Vegeta on your life? Amateurs.
You know how many times how I thought about just asking the head judge with the 9-drop Broly, can I discard a card to send my opponent's leader to the drop? It is a card. I'm asking for a friend. He can't attack me anymore with his leader. It's gone.
Judge, my opponent now has an illegal board state. DQ.
It's on the spot.
So what do you think Bandai needs to do?
Honestly, it needs to go back, look through the rulings, fix them in a way that makes sense.
It's okay to streamline.
Yeah.
It is. Magic the Gathering has done that hundreds of times. Look at the legend rule. It used to be complicated.
How many times they've changed it?
Sense.
They've changed it like 5 times.
Yeah, it used to be, hey, only one can be on the field at
all times.
All times, and if you've got the same card in either player's hand, it's just a dead card.
Yep.
Then it was, hey, your legend, if it enters the field, it blows up your opponent's copy of the same card.
Which was kind of interesting because it was like its own removal spell.
Yes. It was really dumb, though.
It was.
Yeah. What was it, the Hound, the 1-drop 2/2?
Or
is
even
it 2/1
even the Kamigawa time when that was a rule with the Tamios, or not Tamio, but one of the Moonfolk legends that was really strong.
And then they've changed it, and then it was you can have one of each, but like
they have to have different names.
Yeah, you can't have 3 Jaces on the board.
Right.
But now you can have 3 as long as they're different names, and and it makes sense. Maybe some people who are more into lore don't like it, but I just tell someone if I'm teaching them the game, you see this? It says legendary. That means you can only have one of that specific name card on your board. And you know what? They get it.
Yeah.
I don't have to throw out a bunch of asterisks or crazy phase-related stuff to it. They simplified it. And sometimes you need to do that. So, Bandai, do it.
Please. Please, for the love of God. Hashtag save my boy King Vegeta's surprise attack. Please. Make that card playable.
You're just a sadist who just wants to blow up all the opponent's things.
Yes. Because it's the most fair strategy in Dragon Ball. Like, nothing that requires you to tap out like 3 or 4 energy at this point, somewhere roughly around there, or discard like 3 cards and then pay 2 to summon the thing to blow up 1 card on your opponent's field, unless your name is Gogeta, is unbalanced. It really isn't. Especially when all those cards don't have a game-ending keyword. The Brolys give -10 or -15, depending on which one. They don't just end the game there and then. The Nuberis kills a thing that's big, or rests it. And then that's it. That's all it does. It's just a big, beefy boy.
BBB.
And, like, people...
The better, biggest bureau, also known as Big Beefy Boys.
Yeah, because it's like, I feel like Bandai realized their mistake after printing Gogeta, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't give things that cost only 1 mana double strike. That's why with all the other ones, they gave them crit instead. With, like, after Kaba, because Kaba is super strong.
Yes.
Yes, your opponent gets to awaken, but who cares, because they have to deal with this Kaba now. Because you drew a card out of it, you hit them for 2, and now they have to fight against a 1-drop.
And you're playing him in an aggro deck, so you don't care if your opponent awakens. They'll be dead by turn 4.
Right. It's just, like, the whole thing with like autos and whatnot, I guess that's another thing that we should probably cover is like, Bandai, please make it loud and clear what are keyword abilities and what are not, because people apparently have a very hard time defining what a keyword ability is. It's typically the stuff in red, like
the fact that you just said typically is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, ultimate is technically a keyword that Toa can get rid of for no value. You can't you can't get rid of.
That's funny.
It's funny, yeah. It's like, but you can't get rid of like activate main, blah 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 blah. You can't get rid of activate. Well, you can't get rid of permanent. You can't get rid of auto.
Here's my idea. Ready? You know how they're always in a box? Make the edges of the box for keywords pointy. Right? Make the box a slightly different.
Or make the rules book more concise. Because honestly, the rules book is a bit of a nightmare fuel to look through half the time. Because even they don't know what they're talking about. Half the time. They really don't.
Yeah.
You know how many times I had to go through, especially through the judge program, and with, applying common magic knowledge, that I would get certain things wrong. I'm like, that shouldn't work that way, but whatever. And honestly, they should just take some notes from Magic. Make it streamlined, make it simple and easy to understand, and don't incite cheating, please.
Don't be a Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes, because they're notorious for that.
All right. Any final thoughts? Any final words? You get like four final words. Consider them wisely.
Hashtag beefy boy.
Well, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment down below what you think. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Dragon Ball Super rules anymore. I've officially retired as a Dragon Ball judge. Don't worry. I'm not going to your next tournament. I'm like, well, that sounds about right. I haven't been a judge since like set 3.
Right.
So,
honestly, there's like almost no point to being a judge at this point.
They
give you a cool card.
Please, if you'd like to support us, you like what we're doing here, you want to see more Dragon Ball content, support us. You can do so by supporting us on Patreon, or you can check out our shop. And of course, you cannot forget, check out some of our social media or places that you can talk to us or enjoy the stuff we make on the side, like our Instagram where you can check out cool photos, or our Discord where you can talk to Bryce directly.
Or share memes.
Preferably Dragon Ball memes.
We can do both.
Or SpongeBob. I like SpongeBob memes a lot.
The best meme format.
Yeah.
Somehow has not died yet.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to TCG Buzz. New episodes can be found on tcgbuzz.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For box openings, deck profiles, and more, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.